Everyone, today I wanted to take some time to talk to you about my MFA program in creative writing. So back in 2016, I was starting my third year teaching, and pretty soon I knew I was going to have to renew my teaching license. In order to do that, you needed PD hours. And the easiest way to get a large amount of PD hours is to go back and take college classes. Now, I was not opposed to the idea, but I didn't want to just take random classes, right? I wanted an end goal to them. So I looked at several different types of degrees that I could get. Mind you, I already had a bachelor's and 2 masters, but I needed something else, right? If I was going to take more classes, it was going to be for a reason. I initially thought about maybe taking something to further my degree, getting something in like English as a second language, but I took some advice that a professor once gave me, which was take the classes that you love. He was a history buff, and so he was like, if I would go back to take classes, I would take history classes. So I thought about everything that I loved, and writing was at the top of the list. I've always wanted to be a writer, but never trusted myself to really make a go at it. I didn't think I deserved it. During my Master of Arts in Teaching program, I had started writing this story, which was a vampire romance, and it's something that I had worked on through Camp NaNoWriMo's, and I really had something going. So I wanted to find a program where I could write that kind of fiction. All the programs that I found were all based on literary fiction, and that's just something I personally was not drawn to. I am a genre girl, so I love fantasy and science fiction and romance and young adults, which isn't necessarily a category or a genre. We'll go with it. So those are the kind of books I enjoy reading, and so those are the kind of books that I want to write. I didn't like the elitism that a literary fiction program exuded. The first program that I found was a program at Spalding University in Pennsylvania, which was a writing popular fiction MFA, and they had a specific romance genre area. So I was really intrigued by this. So I started applying, I was asking questions, and in the middle of my application, I got an email saying, hey, because you're an Oregon resident, here in Pennsylvania, we're not allowed to give you content because you live in Oregon, so sorry. Yeah, I don't quite understand why. It's all online anyways. I don't know why they couldn't, but whatever. So I had to say goodbye to that program, and that was hard for me because that was one of the ones that I found that I really, really liked. So as I started my search again, I had a few requirements that I was looking for. So number one, it had to be a low residency program. So that means that most of the content is delivered online, and you only meet for about 2 weeks out of the year to have a residency, have a sit down kind of writing group. The residency needed to be during the summer because I had to teach and I couldn't take 4 weeks off during the year to go to a residency, and there needed to be some type of popular fiction or genre fiction. I wanted to feel accepted in the program. I didn't want to go and feel like I was judged because I didn't like literary fiction. That was really important to me. I ended up with 2 universities that met my requirements. They were low residency programs. They had residencies offered during the summer, and they seemed open to genre fiction. The first was University of New Orleans. They went abroad every year during the summer to Ireland. They've now added Italy as well, and it seemed like a really good fit. I was like, okay, so they go abroad every year to Ireland. I've been there. It's awesome. I'd love to go again. And they have, you know, kind of a acceptance of genre fiction. The other program I looked at was Spalding University, which is located in Louisville, Kentucky. And they also had a summer residency, and they went abroad, but they changed where they went every year. So it was a different place every year, which was even more exciting to, you know, get to explore more of the world than I had already had. But what was different was that Spalding had a writing for children and young adults track. Along with everything else. I ended up going with Spalding, and I did for a few different reasons. First, I had a coworker who had actually gone through the program, sang its high praises, and really recommended it to me. So I was like, all right, I have this personal connection. That's pretty awesome. She says it sounds amazing, so why not? The writing for children and young adults is definitely a huge draw for me, and basically it was the first university that accepted me. I had to apply by February, so I got all my application material in While I was waiting for that application to go through, I was then starting to work on the UNO application, and that's when I got the call from Kathleen Driscoll to say that I'd been accepted to Spalding. So I didn't have to finish the UNO application. I mean, Spalding was my first choice. Looking at both programs, Spalding just felt right, and it was. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about how the program actually works. For the MFA degree, Spalding offers 5 different tracks of writing: fiction, screenwriting / playwriting, creative nonfiction, poetry, and writing for children and young adults. Each person who goes, they have 4 semesters that they need to complete. So you can do that in 2 years if you do the fall, spring residencies, or 4 years if you are like me and do the summer residencies. Each semester has a different focus. First semester is 1 and 2. You're really writing creatively and also critically. So you're expected to read 8 to 10 books in your category of writing and read them critically as a writer. So you're writing short critical essays, 2 to 4 pages about these different books. In semester 3, you write your extended critical essay, which is like the short critical essays, but just longer. So most of your 3rd semester is focused on this extended critical writing piece. Finally, in your 4th semester, you're working on your creative thesis. So you need to come up with at least 75 pages of publishable work. So that is your main focus for the semester, is getting this creative thesis done. So during the capstone residency, you give your 30-minute graduate lecture and then your 20-minute reading from your creative thesis. Throughout your 4 semesters, you are paired up with a mentor from the staff, someone who has written in your same category, and someone who gives you feedback on your writing and is with you kind of throughout that semester. The mentors really make the program worth it. They are amazing writers, they have published a lot in their fields, and they know what they're talking about. And it's really nice to have that type of relationship where you're working with professional writers who are, doing what you want to do. Every mentor I've had has been able to really articulate to me what I need to do to help my writing. Every residency, we are given a cross-genre assignment where we are taking on a different type of writing style and creating something during the residency. It's been a very enriching experience. I have enjoyed each and every cross-genre assignment. They're hard because you're not used to writing in that way. It really challenged me to think outside that box and figure out how I can write something different. In my first year, when we were in Rome, we had to write a screenplay which had to be based or inspired by the landscape of Rome, I think. Something to do with that. I wrote a sci-fi screenplay about time travel in the Roman Forum. And basically they took them all, read them, and then they performed some of them at the closing day, and mine was chosen. So it was really cool to see my work, my first year, up there in performance.
Octavia grabs a blaster off the wall.
Right, I'm going after her.
My duty. Luca grabs Octavia's arm to stop her.
Octavia!
I have a duty, Luther.
My second year, we had a collage essay we had to write, where we took bits and pieces that we had experienced throughout the city and braided them together into this collage essay. And I really enjoyed that because it kind of tapped into my poetry type background and the way that I write. And it made me a lot more observant about the world around me. And so I really liked that aspect of being able to take in that world and make something creative from it. I published that essay on Medium, so I will link that down below and you can take a look at it. In my third year, we worked on poetry, and so each day we had a different little assignment we had to write, and then we switched papers and had to add on to it. And then at the end we got to read them. Being able to write something by yourself is exciting enough, but then to add other people's writing as well, it really enriched your own writing And then finally, in my 4th year, we got to do, finally, after the Writing for Children Young Adult tribe had been haranguing both Kathleen and Katie about wanting to do a Writing for Children Young Adult cross-genre assignment, they finally gave it to us in Chile. So we went to the cemetery to get inspired, and then we were supposed to write the opening image of a story focusing on world building. I got a whole story inspired from that trip to the cemetery. And I know some people, mainly my future husband, thinks that cemeteries are morbid and you shouldn't just go walk in them, but I'm more of the Kathleen Driscoll fan, and let's walk through the cemetery, and I quite enjoy that. So I had this whole sci-fi alien story kind of come to fruition through that exercise. In the 4 years that I've gone, it's been the most extensive traveling of the program. It's kind of going outside the Eurocentric area. So my first year we went to Rome, Italy. My second year we went to Edinburgh, Scotland. My third year we went to Kyoto, Japan. And my 4th year we went to Santiago, Chile. For my capstone residency, which was supposed to happen back in July, was supposed to be in Paris, France. COVID happened, it was canceled. They did a virtual residency during spring, and they offered all the summer residency people to be part of that. But I just couldn't see myself graduating virtually. Graduation for me is really important. I have been to all my graduations except for one, and I regret not going to that one. I just knew that I didn't want to graduate at home. I wanted to graduate with my people together. So that brings me to where I am currently. I am doing an enrichment semester. So usually after your capstone residency, students have the option of doing a enrichment semester where you are just focusing on your creative work. You have another mentor assigned to you, and you're just writing and revising. Because I knew that I was going to wait for a whole year, I wanted to stay connected to the program somehow. And I thought that would be a really great way. Now, I had missed the deadline for it, but because we're in this strange circumstances, I asked, and they're like, yeah, we could probably do that. So I was able to get into the enrichment program. The number one reason why this program is so amazing is the community of writers that you are welcomed into. There's so many things that I love about this program, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I've been able to take part in it. If I had to change one thing from my experience of the program, is I would have tried to use it better. In the way that at the beginning, I don't think I pushed myself as much as I could have. I think that's what it is. I would push myself harder. There were times where, because I was doing this program full-time, plus teaching full-time, and then adding on theater director full-time, so I had a lot of things going on, and sometimes it was really hard to continue with the writing and getting stuff done on time. I think there was only one deadline that I had to get pushed back, but I really think I could have pushed myself harder. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this enrichment semester, is to push myself. I also did several different stories that I worked on. If you watch my newbie tag video, you can see all the stories that I have working at the moment, and they've all been started since I've been in this program, except for my vampire romance. And so I really went on different avenues of stories. I just have lots of different ideas, and I worked on different ones in increments. And I think because of that, I did not come out of the program with a full novel written. Instead, I have 20,000 words of one story, and the first act of another story, 2 picture books. I have lots of things that I worked on, but because I wasn't focused on one project, I felt like that was my problem, was that I was not focused on one project, and so that kind of brought me down. It seems like I didn't get a lot of stuff done, or that I was not productive because I didn't focus on one project. And this problem plagued me throughout the entire 4 years. Even when I got to my creative thesis, I was working on 2 different projects that were wildly different from each other. I had a middle grade steampunk fantasy and a YA contemporary. Could not be further from each other. And it just, halfway through it, I was just like, this is just not working. I couldn't do both at the same time. And that's something that my mentor was very supportive of. Was like, yeah, you're doing 2 different projects and it would be stronger to just focus on one. So if I were to go back and redo the program, I would really try and focus my energy on one project. I know that there is this huge debate about whether an MFA degree is worth it or not. Do you need one to be a writer? And I think that is a individual choice. I think I needed this extra specific training to help me get the confidence to write. I think that's what I was lacking before, is that confidence to write. And so this is something that I felt I needed. It's not saying that everyone needs to have an MFA. I don't believe that. There's lots of people who are successful without getting an MFA degree, but I don't think that people should look down on it either. For anyone who's like thinking about doing a MFA degree, I would recommend it. I would not be in the position I am today if I had not been in this program. I truly believe that it has helped me be a better, stronger writer. I know I've probably missed a few things here and there, but that was a pretty good overview of my experience with a creative writing MFA program. Let me know in the comments down below your take on creative writing MFA programs. Is it something that you would ever be interested in? Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next page.